Welcome back to JAK Sports. My name is Jacob Kelly, and this is the show where we catch you up on the biggest stories in sports that you might have missed this week. At the time of recording this video, it is Friday afternoon, so that means Game 4 of the NBA Finals hasn't gone yet. But I will be the first to admit I was so wrong with this series. I had the Cavaliers winning in 6 games, and I really underestimated the talent of the Warriors. Golden State is one of the best basketball teams I've ever seen. I think the game's competitive, and it's a great game, and I look down and Golden State's around me of 12. The spurt ability of this team is frightening. The fact that they can go up 10 points on you in like a minute is just unbelievable. And Kevin Durant has played phenomenal. The pressure was on him this series. He left Oklahoma City to come to Golden State. They had to win. It was championship or bust, and he has delivered. I've heard people saying that, arguing that he's better than LeBron James now that Kevin Durant is the best player in the world. And I think we need to pump the brakes on that one. LeBron James is still hands down the best player in the world. He's averaging 32 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists in this series. And in Game 3, LeBron James played 45 and a half minutes. When he was on the floor, the Cavaliers were +7. When he sat, for only 2.5 minutes, the Cavaliers were -10. If that doesn't show how big of a factor LeBron James is, I don't know what will. But I'll be the first to admit I was very wrong with this series. I missed the mark completely. I fully believe now the Golden State Warriors win this series in 4 or 5 games. I would be shocked if Cleveland won more than one. Golden State's offense is just way too good, and their defense has been unbelievable this series as well. All that being said, what does LeBron James do this offseason? I've heard rumblings of him going to Los Angeles, whether that be the Clippers if Chris Paul stays or to the Lakers. But personally, I think if they can bring in another piece, then will probably stay. Chris Broussard was on the herd, and he said that they should go after Paul George, and I completely agree. Paul George has said that at this point in his career, he just wants to win. The Pacers said they don't want to move him, but his contract ends after next season, and he could just leave for nothing. It would be smart for them to make a trade Paul George for Kevin Love, at least get some value in return. Even if Paul George ends up in Cleveland, I still don't know if that's going to be enough to beat the Golden State Warriors. Either way, it's going to be interesting to see what happens this offseason. I personally don't want LeBron James to end up in the Western Conference, because if that happens, then the Western Conference Finals is essentially going to be the NBA Finals, and the actual finals are just going to be a formality to hand either LeBron James' team or the Golden State Warriors the trophy. My NHL Finals prediction has been a little bit better than my NBA Finals predictions. I'm sticking with what I have. I have Nashville winning the next 2 games and winning Game 7 in Pittsburgh. This series has been really unpredictable. You never know what you're going to get each night. For Nashville to win, Pekka Rinne really needs to be on for the next 2 games. When they go home, he has to find himself, take that momentum, and carry it into Game 7 for the win. Speaking of the NHL, there's a chance we could see an NHL team in Seattle. Preliminary talks have begun in terms of renovating Key Arena to make it NBA and NHL accommodating. We've already talked about a couple weeks ago Ray Allen posting on Instagram saying that it'd be great to have the NBA back in Seattle, and I think it'd be great to have the NHL in Seattle. Seattle does have a little bit of a hockey history. They currently have the Seattle Thunderbirds, the WHL, and they had the Seattle Metropolitans, the first American team to win the Stanley Cup back in 1917. Gary Bettman has commented on this, saying that they've made no commitments to Seattle and they've made no commitments to expand the league or move anybody. Gary Bettman, however, did say this about Seattle. If Seattle sorts out the building arrangement and somebody actually puts a shovel in the ground, my guess is there'll be people knocking on our door saying, we'd like to have a team play in that building. If and when that all happens, then we'll focus on it and decide if we have any interest in expanding and if we have any interest in expanding to Seattle. At the beginning of the 2017-2018 season, the NHL will have 31 teams. I definitely think it'd be great if they added one more to round it off at 32. Quebec City does also want a team, so maybe they could join the league and they would be ready before Seattle. If Seattle does become available, I wouldn't want to see an expansion to 33 teams. I'd rather have a team relocate. Personally, I'm not a big fan of expansion. I think it dilutes the product a little bit because now you're having more bodies in the NHL, and guys that wouldn't have made it before are making it now just because you have to fill your roster. Real Madrid repeated as winner of the Champions League, beating Juventus 4-1. Celebrate while you can, Real Madrid fans. There's a chance that you might be losing Cristiano Ronaldo. Abole, a Portuguese news company, reported that teams like Manchester United, Monaco, Paris Saint-Germain, and some Chinese Super League teams are bidding 180 million euros for Ronaldo. When asked about a potential exit, Ronaldo responded saying, "Nothing is impossible." Selfishly, I hope that Chelsea makes a bid for Ronaldo. They did just dismiss their top striker, Diego Costa. Manager Antonio Conte texted him telling him he wasn't welcome back to the team next year. I think a text message is a really poor way to let a player go. I think that could potentially deter players from coming there in the future if that's how their manager treats players. Ronaldo to Chelsea is really just wishful thinking. I honestly think he's going to be back in Manchester United. I talked a couple of weeks ago about how Neymar is looking for a jump to the Premier League, and he was looking at Manchester United. That got me thinking, could there be like a soccer super team with Ronaldo, Neymar, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic on it? As I was thinking of the possibility of a team with Neymar, Ronaldo, and Ibrahimovic on it, something happened. Ibrahimovic was released by Manchester United. Could they be doing that to make room for Cristiano Ronaldo? We'll have to find out. Odell Beckham Jr. has been missing OTAs, and it's reported that it's a result of contract disputes. Now, I talked a couple weeks ago about how Odell Beckham signed the largest shoe deal in NFL history, and now he might be signing the largest contract for a wide receiver in NFL history. It's reported that his contract's going to estimate around $20 million a year, exceeding over $100 million. Personally, I think that's a little bit too much to put on a wide receiver. In my opinion, you build a football team from the ball out, not the sidelines in, and it's just way too much money to sink into a wide receiver no matter how good he is. Speaking of record-setting contracts, it's reported that Bryce Harper's next contract will be valued at over $400 million. ESPN's Eddie Matz quoted an anonymous MLB GM saying, he's going to get paid, like paid. $400 million is light. It's going to be more than that. If you can sign him to a 15-year contract, you do it. I would say something in the range of $35 million a year, maybe closer to the high 30s. It could approach $40 million a year. I don't even know what you do with $400 million. Bryce Harper becomes a free agent in 2018, and we've seen this guy can rake. It's going to be interesting to see how much money he can rake in. 3-on-3 basketball is really starting to gain some traction. Ice Cube's The Big Three, which is a 3-on-3 professional league, debuts at the end of June, and the International Olympic Committee just announced that 3-on-3 basketball will be an event at the 2020 Tokyo Summer Games. Now don't panic. 5-on-5 basketball will still be an event at the Olympics, but the IOC has said they're adding 3-on-3 basketball to make the event more youthful and urban. The ratings for the Olympics are down. Their current demographic is an older demographic, and they're trying to bring younger people in. The FIFA World Cup brings in more younger people. They have millennials tuning in to watch that, and the Olympics is trying to tap into that market. They're not only adding 3-on-3 basketball, they're also adding events like BMX freestyle, surfing, skateboarding, and baseball to try and attract younger people. I'm really interested to see what the Olympics does with 3-on-3 basketball. How many guys are on a roster? 4, 5? Are countries allowed to enter multiple teams? Are NBA players going to be allowed to compete? Can they compete in the 3-on-3 and the 5-on-5? Or do they have to commit to one? I think a vital part for this to be successful at the Olympics is the Big Three, the professional 3-on-3 league, will have to be successful as well. That will generate buzz for 3-on-3 basketball, and that will lead people to tune in to watch it at the Olympics. I know I'm pretty excited. I think this is really cool, and I'll be tuning in to watch 3-on-3 at the Olympics. We talked about this last week, and Lonzo Ball officially had his workout with the Los Angeles Lakers. This workout was close to the media and to LeVar Ball. Neither parties were allowed to attend. After the workout, Lonzo Ball said he received encouraging feedback and that he would bring a winning atmosphere to the Lakers. One interesting thing to note with this workout, Lonzo Ball didn't even wear his own shoes. He wasn't wearing the Zo2 Prime. He was wearing the Adidas Hardened Disruptor 1s. This boggled my mind because if he wants to move shoes, he has to believe in them himself. If he doesn't believe in them, no one else is going to, and if he doesn't like them, no one's going to think they will either. This had me wondering, is the business LeVar Ball entirely? I know a lot of it's been primarily LeVar Ball, but is Lonzo really not involved at all? Does he not want to be a part of the big baller brand? Because he really needs to wear those shoes, and it is vital that if he wants the company to be successful, he has to wear them during the regular season next year. Before the workout, a report came out that the Los Angeles Lakers were going to pass on Lonzo Ball, and after his workout, Bleacher Report's Kevin Ding reported that the Lakers were underwhelmed with his workout. I'm going to call the Lakers bluff on this one. I think they intentionally leaked that to deter Boston from drafting Lonzo Ball. They don't get the chance to see him work out as he told them he will not be working out with them. So they don't get to see what he's like. They only get to hear the information from his other workouts. I think LA did this on purpose just to ensure that they can take him with that second overall pick. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you let me know in the comments section down below your opinion on anything I talked about today. I really want to know, do you think the Los Angeles Lakers are going to pass on Lonzo Ball? You can follow me on social media. I'll link to my accounts down below. JAK Sports has its own Instagram account now. You can follow it. It's JAK Sport with no S on the end. I will link to it in the description down below as well. Thank you once again for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next week.